Okay, topic 0. I've been getting some flack because I left out two important categories: the rootin' tootin' tooter cougar and the snot bubbling pamper stuffer. But who wouldn't have? What are you going to say about the rootin' tootin' tooter cougar? She'll let you treat her pooter like a cooter. And as far as the snot bubbling pamper stuffer goes, every baby's beautiful. To somebody. But what bothers me is, I only had one question about the bar hopping pub crawler, which leads me to believe that he's an underdog. And underdogs looks mighty good to me. Oddly enough, the request came from a rubber-bottom butter dumper. Who'd have thunk it? But I'm going to get into that a bit more later. Right now, let's tackle some topics. Marriage. In Chowchilla, California, Omema Nelson is appearing before parole commissioners on the offense of chopping up her husband and cooking him over Thanksgiving weekend in 1991. They say she plotted to steal his money as she did with her other middle-aged lovers. Can you believe it? 56 is considered middle-aged? Psychiatrists said that she told them that she only ate his ribs. There are cannibal cultures all over the world that would look upon this as wasteful and very disgraceful. In Georgetown, Texas, 57-year-old Michael Morton is freed on charges of killing his wife. He was put in jail the day after his 32nd birthday, which means he only spent 25 years in jail. It's all thanks to an organization called the Innocence Project. They stayed on the case this whole time and finally persuaded someone to look at DNA evidence that they had taken from a bloody bandana that was found on the scene. It's nice to find out that somebody's finally doing something with this newfangled DNA thing. Funny thing is, the powers that be said he could have been paroled a long time ago if he had only showed some remorse. Some remorse sounds a lot to me like a compromise, and there should be no compromise between guilt and innocence. Wouldn't that alleviate responsibility from those who had wrongfully prosecuted him in the first place? On the upside, thanks to the Innocence Project, he may be awarded $80,000 per year that he was wrongfully held in prison. But on the other hand, had he been free during those years, he may have also found a cure for cancer or AIDS or the hemopapillomavirus. That one is affecting my lunch. Personally. I don't know how you really value it, but $80,000 per year doesn't seem quite right. I say get these criminals punished and make sure that the punishment fits the crime. Especially if the crime is wrongful punishment. Everybody has to be accountable by somebody, and we have to make sure that no one is out there bearing false witness. Unfortunately for now, it seems like those in charge of the judicial process are drunk with power, and as a result of that, they enjoy the adversarial process more than the process of getting to the truth. But the reality of it is their daily workload is so great that they just don't have time to look at each case on an individual basis. They're forced to look at 70, 80 cases in like a 3-hour period. It's made impossible for them. Their plight on their end is as bad as the plight on the other end. Something has to be done. Wow, that's depressing. Let's go for something a little bit on the lighthearted side, like foreskin sleeping bags. Why hasn't anybody thought of this? You could build sleeping bags out of the foreskin of any really, really large animal. And in the heat, they would expand and allow air to travel through. But in the cold, they would contract, providing you would like you were tucked in, you know what I mean? The environment would be warm. Any guy knows what I'm talking about. And any mature female knows what I'm talking about too. Okay, and how about this for an advertising campaign? Just because it's the best doesn't mean you have to buy it for your family. Okay, and how about this for Viagra? If you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours, take a Cialis. Okay, here in America, somewhere in the medical society, they believe they have found a connection between HPV, the hypopapillomavirus, and throat cancer in men. Do you know what that means? So, thank you, Choice, for bringing this to my attention. I kind of felt it was worth a mention 'cause you're sunshine, all over the place. That's really weird. Because about 5 or 6 years ago, they had a lot of studies that showed that the ingestion of semen had a high potential for preventing breast cancer. Does the word ignore come from the word ignorance? Okay, as I promised, we're going to talk about the bar hopping pub crawler. But the bar hopping pub crawler has something better than a bar, something even better than a laundromat. The bar hopping pub crawler has word of mouth, and to get word of mouth, you need performance. And to get performance, you need to crack that dam. And if you're ever going to find a way to poke a hole in that dike, you're going to need one thing. So before we go forward, I have to make sure that you understand what that one thing is. Word of mouth is what he has. If you have word of mouth, then you have an unlimited supply of one-night stands. But how do we get you word of mouth? I think I might deal with that here in just a second. And before we go into what that entails, I think I should give you a few of the warning signs, things that you're going to have to be ready to deal with. It's not all rainbows and sunshine and unicorn tears, baby. First of all, there's postnatal extortion. Postnatal extortion is brought to you by the Dream Crusher. The Dream Crusher is carrying the Pamper Stuffer. The Pamper Stuffer is represented by the Foot Stomper, and between the three of them, they exact upon you postnatal extortion. Are you ready for this? Ready for this? Because it's only going to get worse, Romeo. Postnatal extortion leads to afterbirth animosity, in much the way that overeating leads to Dickey-Doo disease, and Dickey-Doo disease is one of the leading causes of Lackanookie. Okay, I admit, afterbirth animosity should have reached an unacceptable level a long time ago. But the problem is, are you ready to go deeper down the rabbit hole? Speaking of mature females, 100 guilty go free rather than one innocent be brought to trial. Come on, people. We got to do something about this. Okay, new friends. Acting. Acting. Skepticism. Acting. Criticism. Acting. That which the mind can conceive, it can also achieve.